I literally opened this morning, so hopefully.
So are these dry erase? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah,
I like that. So
Is this retail or is this?
So last year I did the Kickstarter for the expansions for the Isle of Cats,
Okay.
and this was offered as an add-on for that.
Awesome.
It will be releasing in retail next week on the 23rd, which I think is next week.
It's my birthday.
Is it? Oh,
It is.
look at that. So yes, exactly a week today.
Wow.
So yes, that's the exciting part of it. It's funny because I always arbitrarily choose a release date based on when it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've had this idea in my head of I want to start doing like birthdays for the release dates of my games. And then I went and researched them all, and I realized 3 of my last 4 games have all released on the 22nd and 23rd of March. And I was like, well, I can't do birthdays for them if they're all on the same day. So it's just a weird date that apparently I always choose as when to have it.
That's awesome. I'm honored.
Exactly. It's all about you, really. Right? So, bring this one down here for now. Is there any particular? Is this a good place just to have stuff?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can go ahead and do an intro for anybody who's watching. Welcome to the Boardvengers. Please ignore me if I'm looking off to here. This is where I can moderate comments and see what's going on with the stream. It's Frank, right?
Yes.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit and talk about your phenomenal success? Excess.
Cool, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hi, yeah, I'm Frank West, so I am a board game designer and self-publisher. Over the last 5 years, I've released 4 games: The City of Kings, Vidoran Gardens, The Isle of Cats, and most recently, Explore and Draw. So all of my games are set within the same universe, so even if you've not played the other games, you'll start to understand like there's the same bad guys, and it kind of continues the story. And this one is all about rescuing cats. The interesting thing about Explore and Draw is that this is a game that never was meant to exist. When the Isle of Cats came out 2 years ago, turns out we all went into lockdown and no one could play the game. And they'd all bought the game and they're like, well, it's at home and I can't play it. So I decided to try and create like a new rule set to allow people to play over the internet with their friends. And if you had the game, you could play with other people. I designed some various sheets that people could print at home and play along. And then over time, that kind of grew into its own thing. And eventually people wanted it as its own thing. And that's where Explore and Draw came from.
Awesome.
But as I say, I kind of generally have just been doing this as a hobby, apparently a business for a few years. But I don't really see it as a job because I just enjoy being able to do this for a living.
I was taken aback. I had no idea that Isle of Cats was self-published. I figured it was from a major publisher because of the phenomenal success that we've seen from Isle of Cats. So super fun to run into you. I asked where your booth was when I first met you, right? I just assumed that, of course, Isle of Cats would have a booth here at GAMA, but we're super honored to be playing this here with you.
No, it's my pleasure. I am basically a rebel who believes in like guerrilla marketing. So you've either got the approach of like, let's pay for booths and let's do all of this, or that's not. And like, as a funny story, when I first like was announcing the Isle of Cats back in 2019, I went to Origins, and again, I didn't have a booth. I just went there as an attendee, and the Isle of Cats ended up being the top game on Free People's Game of the convention, and a whole bunch of people started contacting me, and I was like, but you weren't there and you didn't have a booth. And I was like, well, I was in the coffee shop, and lots of people went and queued in the coffee shop. So not to say that you shouldn't get booths, they're great, but it's quite nice to actually, just be able to play and chat with people and do random stuff like this, which was just not planned at all. And we met, and it's going to be a fun time, hopefully.
I think it's the passion that shows through right there, and that's awesome. So Frank's going to teach us how to play, and then we're going to play through a round and just hang out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the Isle of Cats, let's go through the story first and let you know what's going on. So in this world, there's this evil lord called Vesh. And unfortunately, he wants to take everything over and is just killing and destroying everything. The good news is he's run out of resources and his armies are now stuck. The bad news is he's found this beautiful island called the Isle of Cats, and he's going to head there and chop down the trees, dig out the mines, resupply all of his armies, and kill everything that gets in his way. And as the civilians who live in Squall's End, we can't stop him because we're just measly little people. But what we can do is we can get to the island first. We can take our boats and we can rescue as many cats as we can in the 7 days before he arrives. So we're on a 7-day cat rescue mission. And in each day, we're going to explore the island. So in Explore and Draw, we're going to have a grid of cards, and we're going to be selecting a column. So we're going to have 4 columns to choose. Anyone can select any column. So we could all select the first column, or we can select different columns. It's up to us. You don't need to take them, but you're going to then draw the things onto your boat.
Okay.
So for example, if we took the first column, we'd get a green cat, an orange cat, and a purple cat. If we took the second column, we'd get some treasure, a blue cat, and then a green and red kitten. Over here, you'll see that we've got what's referred to as a lesson card, which is effectively a point-scoring card. And here we have the Oshaks. And the Oshaks are the special rare cats on the island that want to be friends with everyone, so they can be any colour. And when you place them on your boat, you get to choose which colour they're going to represent.
Very cool.
So let's just talk a little bit about how we put stuff onto our boat. If you don't mind, I'm just going to grab these for a second. So you're going to have 5 different coloured pens that represent the 5 different coloured cats, and then a black pen for the treasures. If you draw a green cat on your boat, believe it or not, you get a green pen and you draw that shape onto your boat.
Okay.
The first one you can put anywhere. It's just, as you would imagine, you can rotate them, you can flip them, you can do whatever you want, as long as they sit within the outer edge of your boat. So if I was to draw this cat onto my boat, I might simply just say, hey, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to rotate it slightly and put it into this shape. I recommend you kind of draw an outline, so later on you can easily see the shapes, but you can always kind of decorate it and color it however you want to. Every tile you place on your boat after the first has to touch a previously placed tile. It doesn't have to be the last one, but it has to touch something. So as we've chosen this column, now I might place this purple cat on my boat. And again, I'm going to draw this on here. I might rotate it. And because it's touching, that's absolutely fine. And as you add stuff on, they've got to keep touching. You're drawing them, and hopefully you're going to be able to fit stuff onto your boat. Now, sorry, was that a question?
Diagonal adjacency?
So diagonal doesn't count. So it has to be a solid side that is touching and can't be on those diagonals, if that makes sense. So when you have treasures, there are 2 types of treasures, and I'll kind of tell you as they come out. But you can see there's these larger ones at the top, which are a golden color, and then some smaller ones at the bottom, which are a copper color. So the big ones at the top are referred to as rare treasures. And if you have a rare treasure, you're simply going to draw it onto your boat. So let's, for example, say we're drawing this one. We're going to use the black pen, and then we're simply just going to put an R on it. So at the end of the game, we know it's a rare treasure. If we do common treasures, same deal, but you're going to put a C instead of an R. You'll often notice that with the commons, you'll get 2. With the rares, you'll get 1. Commons are smaller, more practical. They're not worth any points. Rare ones are bigger. They're worth 3 points at the end of the game. So there's a little bit of a decision there to make. In addition, when you get a column with a lesson card, you're just going to look in the top left-hand corner at the number, find it on your list, and tick it off. So if I was to take this one, I would just tick off number 6 to say that I've done it. These are the ways that you're going to learn to make your cats happy. And at the end of the game, for each of these things that you've achieved, you're going to look at them. You're going to see how many points you've got. So, for example, this one says 2 points per visible rat on your boat. You can see there are a number of different rats. So every one you can see at the end of the game is going to be worth 2 points. This one here says 8 points if you have exactly 4 orange and 4 purple cats on your boat. So hopefully you can work out what you need to do with that one. But if you've ticked it off at the end of the game, you'll see if you've done it and you'll get those points. Does that all make sense so far?
I think so.
So
and this one's a wild?
this one's
Okay.
a wild one. So when you do that, you can draw it in any of the 5 colors. But obviously once you've chosen the color, it is going to be that color.
And it looks like all of our sheets are slightly different, right? As
So
far as
the rats
thickness
and the
rats.
maps are different colors, different positions, but otherwise the actual shape of the boat is the same.
Oh, that's fun.
So you'll notice that there are 5 treasure maps that have different letters in them. So there'll be a P, R, B, O, and G. They represent the 5 different colors. If you put a red cat over the R, if you put an orange cat over the O, purple cat over the P, and so on, then those cats will also tell you where there's some treasure, and they'll give you a common treasure you can put onto your boat. You'll see on this track there are 4 different shapes of common treasure, which are effectively the corners, the singles, the threes, and then there's also a 2x1 as well. And it's just an extra thing you can draw afterwards. You can put anything over the treasure maps, but if you put a matching cat color, you get one of those common treasures. So final thing you'll notice is that there are some rats. Rats you can cover. At the end of the game, you'll lose points for every rat that you haven't covered, but you can mitigate that. So, for example, this will help you mitigate that by giving you points rather than losing lots of points.
Okay.
You'll see your boat is cut up into 7 different areas. So these are referred to as rooms. Each of them has icons. So this one has a parrot in the bottom left, this one has a moon in the bottom right, and so on. There's also a big grey one that doesn't have an icon. These are rooms, and at the end of the game, any room that you've not completely filled is going to lose you 5 points. Ooh. So you'll see down here in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got the scoring. You'll see that you score for families. I'll explain that in a minute. You'll see you get 3 points per rare treasure. As we said, these are the bigger ones. You score your lessons. So all of the lesson cards that you've ticked off, you're going to then add up. And then you'll lose 1 point for every rat that's visible and 5 points for every room that isn't completely filled. Okay. So last thing is cat families. Cat families is 3 or more cats of the same color that are touching. Okay. You can have as many families as you want. If you've got 3 green cats over here, 3 green cats over here, that's 2 different families, and they all score. And you'll see the points you get for them in the bottom right. So 3 equals 8, 4 equals 11, 10 equals 40. So for every cat you've got of that color that's touching, it's going to score those points. Okay. Does that all make sense?
Yes, I think so.
Have you ever seen someone score 40?
Yes, so you can actually get like 13 or 14, but and you continue to score extra points, but the vast majority of people don't get to that high. So prove me wrong.
That's fine. Yeah.
So the last thing is just to really get cap on kind of turns. We're going to do 7 turns. Each turn, all of these cards are going to be removed. New ones are going to come out. Okay. Everyone's going to choose their column. When you choose a column, you can do the things in the column in any order. Okay. So if you chose this column, you could do the orange, purple, green, or purple, orange, green. It's up to you. If a card has multiple things on it, you have to do the whole card before you can do the other one. Things like lessons, obviously, it doesn't matter what order you do them in because you just tick them off. But you'll see in the bottom left that you've got specials. And there are 5 different specials in the game. The first one is choose 1 additional card from any other column. So if you chose this column, you would then be able to choose 1 of the other 9 cards in addition. Second one is choose 1 card from each row instead of a column, which effectively means that you can make your own column, so to speak. Okay. The next one is choose a row instead of a column. So you choose a row and get an extra card. Draw your next cat twice. So once you've drawn a cat, you can then draw that one again and draw your next treasure twice. You can use 3 of these, and you can use 1 per round. So effectively, at some point, 3 times, you're going to want to use them. I recommend using them because they do help considerably. But that's everything.
So when you say draw your next cat twice, that's not the card, right?
No,
so
it is a specific cat. Yes.
Okay. It would be 1.
And so if you were doing this and you drew the green one, you would then draw the green one again. Cool. And with the Oshaks, you would use the same color of that Oshaks again as well. Okay. Okay.
And how does the game end?
So the game will end once we've got through 7 rounds.
Excellent. Okay.
So we're effectively going to go through this 7 times, and then that's going to be it.
And can cats go through walls?
They can go through walls, yes. They can't go off the edge, but they can go. So what we're drawing on here, exactly. So what we say is, because obviously we're not into animal cruelty, is that these spaces are represented the amount of space the cat needs for the journey home, rather than the amount of space it takes up at any particular time.
It's its home.
It's exactly.
Turf. Cool. Very nice.
Cool.
All right. And you're not going to play with us?
I'm not going to play. I'm just going to judge you and laugh at you
and laugh at our
decisions. Tell you how to do it and help
I think I missed one piece. When you place the treasures, is there a certain part where you can score higher for placing the treasures?
There isn't at all. So with the rare treasures, they can be worth 3 points. Okay. The other ones aren't worth any. Okay. But really, those are going to be the things that you're going to use to help you kind of fill the smaller gaps.
So the common treasures mostly are helping you avoid the -5 that you're going to get from filling in rooms.
Exactly. And you might find lesson cards that are going to want them as well and things like that. Okay. But they're there to help you.
All right.
Let's save some.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wholesome and uplifting.
How far back into Isle of Cats, because Isle of Cats, you made that game. You decided to make this game. You have your completed game. How far into the completed game did you decide to go before you were able to flip it into or make it into this game?
So the Isle of Cats had released, and then this was designed because of lockdown, because people had the Isle of Cats and they couldn't play it. So this never existed at all, and I had no plans to make this until after the Isle of Cats was out and people couldn't play.
Well, yes, I mean, into your rule set of Isle of Cats, because you have the game already set up, so you have the core element of it. at what point in Isle of Cats does that regular Isle of Cats stop? Other than obviously.
Oh, okay. So
drawing-
the differences
drawing-
between the
yeah,
two.
the differences.
Okay, so in the Isle of Cats, it's a much bigger, more kind of grandiose game. So this one, everyone's doing their things at the same time, so it's a faster game. Whereas with the Isle of Cats, you do it one at a time. In the Isle of Cats, you have card drafting. So rather than having this, you get given 7 cards, and those cards are going to allow you to generate resources. They're going to be blessing cards, Oshax cards, treasure cards, and then also cards that allow you to get cats as opposed to the cats. And then the cats themselves are on the board. But each cat requires resources for you to be able to rescue it. So with the cards in your hand, you need to kind of generate resources and then rescue the cats. But in regards to scoring, it's exactly the same.
Okay.
The only difference is really how you select cards and kind of use that resource management.
Very cool.
So I'd say it's about 20% more complicated than this is.
Okay.
Like not massively, but obviously a little bit.
Okay.
So
we're
we're
choosing
done
a
with my
column?
turn, just so you all know.
Okay. What are you doing?
Better hurry the crap up.
So remember they've all got to be touching each other.
Oh, they do.
Yes.
Come on, McKay.
I know.
Oh wow!
So-
You were almost done with your turn, McKay.
Now
So
I'm not.
This is why I'm not playing, because I need to
I
make
know.
the rules.
Jeez,
for you to make
everyone.
sure everything's going
That
through.
changes what I do.
So you can write your name in the top right-hand corner.
So remind me, treasures you draw in black. With the
Yes,
little
with an
notation?
R or a C, just to
Right.
remind you which ones they are.
And this is
Do I
just
wanna
player
do that
count.
anymore?
Or
This
is this
will always be
always
the same,
the
yeah.
same?
So
Okay.
you can play this with 100 people.
Okay.
In the box,
That's
it comes with 6 sheets, but you can obviously play with more.
All right, let's start off with.
And when you
Are we
do,
going simultaneously?
Yeah,
Yes.
we all go at the
Oh,
same
sorry.
time.
I
No,
thought-
it's fine.
I don't know why I thought we would go in a row because it wouldn't affect anything on my side.
I think because.
remember what we
I'm
do when
bad at
we
these type of
hit the
games.
treasure?
So if you cover the treasure with a cat of the same color, then
I'm
you
gonna
get
do
a common
dogs so I
treasure.
can
Oh,
follow.
common
If you
treasure.
cover it just with anything else, then you don't get
It's probably
anything.
better late game to actually activate those. Use them up.
Does it matter what color you use to tick these
Yeah,
off?
No, not at
Okay.
all. So generally, it's whatever pen you've got in your hand. So
There. All right. So I'm gonna do.
I'm going to tell you at the end who did it right.
Me and Nelson,
Not gonna be
Dude.
my rival.
I'm not gonna lie, these polynomial games do not work with my brain.
That's one of the things with the roll and write is obviously because you have to draw them. There does take a certain mindset to be able to kind of draw various shapes. Whilst with the Arcades itself, you obviously have pieces that you can physically just put onto the board.
And rats are bad at the end, right? We
Yeah,
wanna
minus
cover
1
them?
point for each
Okay.
one you haven't covered, unless you've got this.
Okay.
You may have said it earlier on. Can you go over again what comes in this box?
Yes, so you've got the 6 boats, 6 lesson sheets, you've got 4 sets of pens, and then the deck of cards, which is the cats, and then the deck of cards, which is kind of the lessons. Generally speaking, you'll get through about 50% of the deck in a game, so there's quite a lot of kind of variety in that.
What brings out a lesson as opposed to a cat?
So when you set up the game, this card, this card, this card, and this card comes from this deck,
Okay.
and the other cards come from this deck. And this both decks have treasures and Oshax, but this one only has lessons, and this
Okay.
one only has cats, which gives you kind of a guaranteed good mix of stuff
Okay.
coming out.
Cool.
One thing I should clarify with this one is it says 2 points per visible rat on your boat at the end of the game. You still lose a point for each rat, so it's officially +1.
So it's turning each rat into a
Exactly.
+1 instead of a
Exactly.
minus
And
1.
you can just use a special whenever you want.
You can, yeah, you can use it now if you want,
All right.
when there's absolutely no reason to.
I'm gonna take an extra card, and I'm gonna take these double treasures.
Sounds good.
Risky Meg.
I just filled my whole front ship. And they're common.
Yes.
I immediately took this card because that just means
Helps.
one more thing
Don't
that I
want
don't
to
have
worry
to
about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My
Now
last
I get
card.
rewarded for doing poorly.
Yeah, that's what I did. I was just like, I don't want to worry about it.
And
So you're looking good.
Yes,
You're
thank you.
looking
As someone
good.
who really, I've played a couple games with dry erase, and especially with D&D and stuff, having multiple colors, I really appreciate. Like immediately, it just makes the game. Then relying on like writing
Yeah.
just like O or P or
Yeah.
something
Well,
like
this
that.
thing, when we started it originally, obviously it was over streaming and people had to draw patterns and we had this whole pattern grid thing. And it's fine, but it just makes it harder, doesn't it? You know, and this just
Yeah.
visually looks a bit nicer at the end and it's just a bit simpler.
And where you're doing like tricky puzzles,
Mhm.
it takes a part of the puzzle because even just quickly
Right.
looking, you can
Yeah.
kind of tell you've
Exactly
already done. Yeah.
And it's one of those things to me, like I want my games to feel like you're getting all of the stuff you need to play.
Yeah.
And if you just get kind of a couple of black pens, it's a little bit like,
Yeah.
well, you're not making it too easy for me. So are we all done?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will clear these ones away. And as you will notice, the evil Vash's boat is slowly moving towards us.
No.
So we have lost one of our days.
You just added way too much pressure.
I know, exactly.
We're
It
gonna say
was-
we've lost one
it
of
was
our
so-
cats.
It was so cute and fun before you
Hey,
reminded us of the
I
story.
don't
I know,
decide what
God.
happens to the cats you don't rescue. That's totally up to your imagination. And I will leave you guys to feel guilty about that for the rest of the week. So we will put these out. As I say, it's always the same pattern that these come out on, so you become very familiar with it. And it is drawn in the rulebook,
Okay. Cool.
should you not be familiar with it. So here, obviously, we have just different coloured cats. So either these two, with this one, it's any two common treasures. You can take the same one
very cool.
twice.
Okay.
With this one, 15 points if you have fewer than 3 treasures on your boat.
Mm.
So that one is requiring you not to take treasures, basically. This one is 12 points if there's no empty spaces at the edge of your boat. So that's the entire outside. And then this one is 10 points if you've got exactly 5 visible rats on your boat.
I'm using one of my specials. I want to take a row. I'm just trying to figure out what to do after that.
The lesson cards in this game are really designed to make you kind of try and do things you wouldn't normally do if you didn't have them.
I love that.
And things like feel like the outside of your boat, right? It's just a really nice little kind of, can I achieve that along with the other things I'm trying to do?
No, yeah.
Is it typical that we could probably fill the whole boat, or should I not?
So no would be
Okay.
the answer. Generally speaking, in this game, it's more about how do you logically use the things you're selecting rather than how do you fill the whole board. You can fill it, but 99%. It's basically 1 in 1,000 games.
Okay,
that someone
I'm reading
can
the visible rats, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is that possible? But it is
Yeah.
highly possible.
fill. Exactly. So 5
Okay.
visible rats is very, very doable.
All right, well, I'm gonna just so you guys know, I'm taking a row instead of a column this
Okay,
time.
definitely. Round 2, 2 specials out of 3 use.
Why
That's
not?
the right approach for sure.
What's the worst that could happen?
I won't need it later for sure.
I mean, at least it takes away the stress at the end of the game because it's just not an option, you know?
Right. So remind me again, the treasure maps are 1 common treasure?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And it's any of these 4 shapes.
Yeah.
I love this. The lessons.
Mhm.
Lessons are brilliant.
That is incredibly great.
So in the actual Isle of Cats game itself, these are in sets of 8 and they're called lesson modules. So they have little letters in the bottom left.
That's
and with
cool.
the
Yeah.
expansions, there's extra modules so you can switch them in and out. So
Very cool.
you don't just have the same 24, but there's kind of like 60 of them that you can play through.
Yeah.
But they really change up the game. It's what makes this so exciting for me because it's not just a case of how do you fill a board. It's more about actually, maybe I want to leave half my board empty, but
Mhm.
what am I actually going to
Yep.
be trying to aim for?
Yep.
So we've got a nice green section going on over there.
I figured out how I can stick this one next to this one, but I don't think I can because I want to use that. Oh.
Roberto, you and I are playing like exactly opposite games.
I'm so bad at these.
You're like spread out right through the middle.
Yeah.
I'm like sequestered to one edge,
Yeah.
crawling.
I
by.
love like watching people because you have people who obviously start on the right, people start on the bottom, people start in the middle, and it's just there's no right and wrong, right? It's just what's
I
in
just
your
want to
head.
We
turn
need
this
a
for a
D&D
second to
alignment,
understand where I'm
right?
putting it.
And that's what's the cool thing about obviously the treasure maps being slightly different
Yeah.
colors for each
Mhm.
person.
And then these are double
Because it
sided.
means so they are the same on the both
Okay,
sides.
okay.
But it just means that you kind of what would be the perfect color for you here wouldn't be the same for him necessarily, and it
Right.
just gives everyone a slight
That's so cool.
variance.
That's so great.
Oh, the treasure maps are different.
Honestly, the saving the cats is my motivation. That I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm stressed.
Use the specials.
There's
We
nothing I
gotta do
enjoy
this.
more than just when I'm doing demos and it's like, so you're taking treasures. You're just taking all the treasures. You're just leaving the cats on the island.
Yeah.
Like, you get to the end of the game, it's like, so you've got 19 treasures and 4 cats. Like, right. So is
Real cool.
everybody done?
I think
I
I'm
am,
good.
yeah.
Cool. So we'll move on to the next round. So again, obviously, because we're all doing it at the same time, like you can have whatever player count you want for this, and it's not going to make it take any longer
Right.
or any less time. So, and it's a really nice game to be able to play over like Zoom and
Yeah.
streaming
Yeah,
and stuff
absolutely.
with people. for that purpose too.
Yeah, say if anybody has a copy of this game, play along with
Yes.
us. You don't have a copy of this game.
And if you get
Although-
a higher score, don't tell us.
On my website, you will be able to download player sheets.
Oh,
So you can
great.
just download and print off a black and white sheet to be able to play along
awesome.
as well.
So only one player would have to have like
The actual game
the actual
itself,
cards.
yes.
Cool.
Which is really important to me because it also means that, if you want to play with 7 people, you don't have to buy 2 copies. One
Yeah.
person can just have the black and white and so on.
It's considerate.
Okay.
Mm.
So this one here is 3 points per family. So a family again is 3 or more cats of the same color touching. So this might encourage you to do lots of families rather than one.
That's interesting.
And this is orange, right?
Yes.
Yikes. It's just gonna
Okay.
Yikes.
No stress, but we're nearly halfway.
That is stress.
No stress.
And I'm
Okay.
sorry, is this one blue or
Blue, yes.
Blue.
And that's a little orange.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Let's see. This table's like just not quite level. Stays real.
It feels very polished and rolly and shiny.
Yeah.
doesn't it? So-
Oh man.
Need a game table with some felt.
Mhm.
Would be perfect.
Yo, I think I'm in trouble.
So good.
I'm in danger.
Oh no. I'm just gonna get all of the lessons and hope it works out.
Nothing bad can happen if you don't like cats. If you do like cats, it's horrendous if you get it wrong. So.
I'm like
Was there a
itching to
cat
go
that
home
inspired
tonight.
this game? Do you own cats?
Yeah, so I'm a cat person.
Okay.
I've got several cats. Well, I've got 3 cats at the moment. I used to have 5 cats, and now I have 5 for various sad reasons. But I've always had a lot of cats, and I enjoy having cats. And I also enjoy polyomino games, these Tetrisy games. And for me, years ago, I was kind of sitting there thinking, well, cats are known for being in all these weird, awkward shapes.
Yeah.
And why hasn't anyone mixed this with polyominoes? And then I thought, hey, I design games. Maybe I could be that person. So that was the real start of the journey. Originally, you were kind of a crazy lady buying cats from some shop. And I was like, I don't really like that theme. It just feels very the wrong message. So I kind of thought, well, let's have some evil warlord destroying the world. And you're trying to rescue and save animals because feels a little bit more like modern life and just a little bit more of the right message to be kind of doing.
And
So-
deep down, we all are that crazy cat.
Exactly. Exactly. Deep down. We they make the world a better place.
Mine has been sleeping on my pillow since I
Mhm.
left. I've been
Aw.
gone since Sunday, and she's been sleeping on my pillow
Oh,
every
that's
so
night.
adorable.
I know.
This is because of COVID. We've not left me and my partner for years, and I've been working from home, so our cats haven't been left on their own. And we took them to a place to kind of leave them, and it was so sad. And one of them climbed up into the hood of my partner's coat and was just "Don't leave me." And a few tears may have been shed because of it. Unfortunately, you have to travel the world sometimes, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting back to them.
They make the world better.
Yes.
Sorry, I keep asking.
No, it's
So
not a problem.
it's I did the orange. I covered it with the orange. I did
Yep.
the thing. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's the next step? It's a
Good.
So
common
you've
treasure.
covered, yes. You get a common treasure, which is one of these 4 shapes.
Oh,
So kind of
excellent.
the
Perfect.
corner, the
Thank you.
single, the 2, or the 3.
Okay.
And obviously do that with the black, and then just put a C in it just to remind you at the end.
Yeah. Thank you.
This guy taking the treasures, just like what you
I know.
talked about
Exactly.
earlier.
Leave it to Nelson.
It's
I
okay
do
if it
have-
comes with a cat.
I have 15 points, but I have fewer than 3 treasures. I am doing this out of the goodness of my heart. I'm not here. Look, the treasure is just a nice consolation prize.
I totally did something wrong because last round I did a row. I did a row again. Let me roll
No
back just a
worries.
second. I am.
Yeah, it could be a
Fix
bit
this.
with the specials. It's just you have to make sure you remember that I'm changing the rules this
Yep.
time. But
Right.
That's fine. That's the great thing about having something you can just wipe away, right? It's
Mm.
again why we went with this type of sheet and
Yeah.
these types of pens because you can just fix it. And a lot of people are going to sit there just changing their mind a little bit and
Yep.
panicking. So
Immediately, I was tempted to do a row instead.
Mhm.
So where it was a thing, I was like, great.
Yeah.
I already wanted that.
and for my benefit, I mean, when I first designed the game, you did select a row. So then I changed it to a column halfway through, and it took me about 6 months to remember in my head that I've changed it. And I was just even now when I kind of get it out, I just better just double check that I'm remembering it the right way, just to be sure. And I've played this probably 400 times now, which is
Wow.
craziness. But It's because we streamed it so much over the last 2 years, and we had loads and loads of people coming and playing, and it was just a lot of fun. So,
What's your highest score?
my highest score is 100. Well, it's about just under 150, 145, 146.
Goals.
A good first time score would be 40 to 50.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
This is very much a game where, like, as you get better, you will score
Yeah.
better and better. And of course, it does depend a little bit on what cards come out.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
beauty of it is everyone's got the same card. So even if it's a low scoring game, everyone's going to
Everyone's
score
got
lowly.
low.
So you can have that little bit.
Do you have another favorite, either polyomino game or roll and write
Mhm.
or flip and write style game that you have other than your own?
Yeah. So, well, there's a game called Planet Unknown, which is a polyomino game that's coming out soon, which I'm really excited about. So I haven't actually played it yet, but it's just going through fulfillment of Kickstarter, and that's probably the one I'm most excited about.
Cool.
But I mean, I've played a lot of polyomino games over the years, and like I enjoy them all. From obviously Barren Park and Patchwork, and kind of like a lot of Yui's games like Cottage Garden and stuff are just really good fun. But
Cool.
obviously, this one I might enjoy slightly more.
Yeah.
But I'm a little biased.
It's cats and it's your baby. so-
Exactly.
All right.
So are we all good?
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Are we all good?
After I had to redo my turn.
No, it's not a problem at all. It's
It might have ended
I
up
see a lot of
better, though.
treasure over there on your ship.
It's all common. And I keep erasing this common treasure. I don't know why that's where I rest my hand every day.
Yeah, I keep raising my
rewriting it.
name.
right. So we are on day 4, which means that we're starting to hear the
Over
war
half.
drums in the distance of the approaching armies, and the cat's starting to get a little bit nervous, thinking, "Why aren't you saving me? You saved my parents, but you've just left me behind." So no pressure, but
Number 17 is out the window for me.
so 9 points,
Same.
and you've got exactly 3 different coloured cats. So it doesn't matter
Wow.
how many cats you have, but you can only have 3 different colours. This is 1 point per 2 cats touching the edge of your boat, and then 7 points if you have at least 2 treasures touching 1 visible rat.
Okay.
Touching, not covering, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's visible. Yeah.
This is getting more tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Strategy is starting to emerge. So if you take too many of the lessons, you're just going to end up with a very empty boat.
Exactly. And sometimes that can be good, but unless you've got the right lessons, it's
I was
not
going
going
to
to be
say,
ideal.
you're probably going to get settled with a decent number of negative points.
Yeah.
This one's blue, right?
Yes.
Okay. For a minute, it was looking like one of the, what do you call these ones?
This is the Oshaks, yeah.
Oshaks.
So generally speaking, that you can tell by their tails. So with the blue ones, they've got a really fat, fluffy
Oh, okay.
tail.
Cool.
With the green one, it's got crystals on it. With the red ones, it's more like a kind of deer's tail. These ones are a striped tail, and so on. And we actually, I haven't got them, but in the card, there's actually some color kind of guidance cards to help people with that as well if they've got colorblind issues and so on.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I can't understand the shape of this. I rotated
Yeah.
myself. It was
I
very
need
hard
that.
for me.
It's absolutely fine. And this is where obviously the actual Isle of Cats kind of physical game becomes a little bit easier for people in that kind of like not having to picture the tiles because you can move them.
Yeah.
But the advantage of this obviously is it's much quicker, it's much easier, like doesn't take up as much space.
I'm puzzled on which column to take. It's killing me.
And I'm gonna use my third special.
Oh,
I'm gonna use this
Wow.
one twice.
sounds good.
Double purple.
Double purple.
Definitely not going to put any pressure on yourself in the last few rounds.
Everything's
That's
fine.
It's all okay.
Everything is all
Chaos
wrong.
is my brand.
It's a lot more fun that way, you know.
Okay, my brain's done.
Sorry, I'm gonna.
It is also very late.
It
to be
is
playing
also
a
very
pinky
late.
game
It's been
like
a
this.
long day, to say the least. It's the joys of playing stuff at conventions,
Yep,
isn't it? It's
absolutely.
like you walk around all day, and then everyone goes to sleep. You're like, let's just play some games.
We're just gonna
What could go wrong?
take all of the objectives or all the lessons and call it a day.
I just cautioned you against that.
I know you did. I'm going for it.
He's gonna see what happens, you know. If it works out, it works out.
Exactly.
I'm eager to see if that works for you.
So at this point, as a
Same.
reminder, at the end of the game, you're going to lose a point for every rat you've not covered. You're going to lose 5 points for every room you've not filled.
I get a
And
point for every
You're
red
going to
I
get a
can
point, yes. And then, of course, you're going to score points for rare treasures, your lessons, and for cats of the same colour that are
Yeah.
touching.
Oh no, I forgot about that. All right, Excellent.
Which part did you figure out?
All of it.
Okay.
This is what I like to remind people halfway through the movies. It's as I said, it's definitely a game where as you play it more times, you're just going to become better and better, and you're going to know what kind of is a good push. It's kind of like the first time you play it, it's a bit more push your luck because you're like, well, how many lessons should I go for? How much should I do this? And how much should I do that?
Yeah.
And until you get there, because as I said, we're halfway, and look how empty your boat looks. Like that
Thanks.
could be terrifying, but equally that could be a really good thing because you could have this spawning mess. You've got no idea. So.
I got 5 lessons on that.
Exactly.
So,
So it's
I think
everyone.
it's fine.
the fewer shapes I can draw, the better. Like I straight was using a special, and I was like, I can't figure this shape out. I'm not using the special.
It's when we were doing the streaming originally, we did it a lot, and after about 15 or so goes, we got to the thing where we were doing speed rounds, and we were doing kind of 30 seconds per turn,
Oh, that's great.
and it really, really, really hurt. Like obviously that's not part of the game at all, but it meant we played the whole game in like 10 minutes, but it was never again. So with this one up here, 9 points if you have at least one cat touching exactly 5 treasures. So obviously if you've got lots of treasures around 1 point per lesson you've chosen.
Yes.
There you go.
I love it.
And then score your 3rd largest family twice. So if you've got 3 families, then that's going to score you lots and lots of points.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Boom. That means I can ignore a room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this one. Choose a row instead of a column.
So I should say at this point, if you've not used any specials, you definitely want to make sure you start using them because there's only 3 rounds left, and you can only use 1 per round.
I've used one.
I've also used one. This is tricky.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna do.
It's even trickier if you've used all of your specials.
Yeah.
Everything is so fun.
Oh, so choose 1 card from each row instead of a
Yeah,
column.
exactly. So you're effectively building your own column.
Oh,
at that point.
that's cool. That's really cool. I like that. Yikes. So yeah, we're definitely doing that. Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
This game's cool.
See, one of the things I love so much is
This
like
game's cool.
everyone's boat is just completely different. Like,
Yeah.
it's not one piece different.
This is what I
Everything's different.
got a
And-
visual.
Oh, you stole what I was drawing.
Sorry, I'm
That's
actually
okay.
gonna leave it exactly like that too. I think no, yeah, no, yeah.
It's basically a hangman shape, like the if you're playing hangman, that's the shape you do.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a big family over here, purple.
Hopefully they're having a good time, and you didn't leave any of their kittens.
They're officially a pride now.
Yeah.
2 treasures, 1 visible red.
Yes.
Visible red.
Yeah. So you'll need to have them next to it as opposed to on it.
No,
That's,
I need a green there. What is my brain doing?
What am I?
Well,
I'm close to closing off 2 rooms.
Nice.
Yeah, it's looking good over there. It's
Nice.
I mean, I
feels
need
like
very
you know what you're
specific
doing,
shapes
right?
now.
I have no more specials.
Yeah.
In terms of specials, they're done.
I need a cat that's like this,
Like what?
like rested.
Just like that.
They're all so cute.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun designing this and kind of just coming up with the different ones, and obviously some of the slightly less appropriate pictures as well. Because let's face it, I mean that's the most famous of all cat poses, right?
Yeah.
So,
Do you know the saying? Supposedly it's like old folklore that if a cat is in that position, which is licking itself with its foot up, if its foot is directly up, that means a visitor is coming.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
So
interesting.
sometimes I'll walk around the house and say to my husband, "I didn't know you invited anyone over tonight."
No, I've never heard that,
Yeah.
but I'll pay attention now. We always just assume that our cat's kind of like saluting us when it does it, so
Yep,
we kind of
yep.
salute our cat back as does it. But I don't think it quite understands. So you guys
I
all
think we're
done?
good.
You all good? Cool.
This is not gonna end well.
So we've got 2 rounds left.
Oh, it's gonna
I'm
end.
still gonna take a
not
picture.
gonna end well for me.
Which means that unfortunately
Oh,
we can see the boats
No.
getting closer. The noise is starting to get a little bit deafening.
Jumanji music just started playing.
Exactly.
I almost did the Moana drums for a second there. Like, wait a second. No.
When is this coming to retail again? Something
So
on
this
Fast.
one is coming
March
out
23rd.
March 23rd.
Your birthday.
It's my birthday.
A week today. And just to be clear, that will be in America, Australia, Canada, across the whole of Europe and the UK, like all on the same day.
Wow.
Love
I always
Excellent.
go for global releases, so you should be able to get it absolutely anywhere.
Wow.
And if you can't, then ask your local retailer, and they should be able to get it for you. So 8 points if you've got exactly 4 blue and 4 green cats. 7 points if you've got exactly 4 families, and 1 point per common treasure on your boat.
Excellent.
Cab Walker can control it. So maybe I'll take that one. But I also need to use a special.
Yeah, definitely need to use that special. We're gonna use that bro.
Get that paper.
So obviously this is where like little kittens
I just
will
was
start
not
being
ever
helpful.
expecting those words to come
Yeah,
out of your mouth ever.
true. Yes.
Okay, cool. I've seen it all.
I feel like I should write a little piece of paper like who I think is going to come first,
I know,
second,
right?
third, and fourth.
I would love, yeah. Keep it in your head. What you,
I am not good at chess. I don't hate chess. I really enjoy chess, but I'm just not good at it. I don't ever play. But I love chess commentating because they're like trying to predict it. And so like I would love to see a stream of you commentating us playing Isle of Cats. That'd be
Yes.
amazing.
That should be a thing that I start doing, live commentary of people
Yes.
struggling to draw tiles on the board. They're currently drawing a plus, so they're going to realize there's one more square on the left-hand side of that tile. It's like the most riveting entertainment.
I'd be there for it.
Should I wait for them to draw the next 2
Like
tiles,
this
or should I
one,
tell
like-
them now?
That's a wild one, okay?
Yeah, that could be any color you like.
I was trying to decide if I drew this right. Yeah, I got it right. It's mirrored, but it's right.
Let's see if I can fit this anywhere.
Ooh. It's gonna be tricky.
I need that. That means I'm doing one from each row instead of each.
Now, can you select a row if you can't place all of the cats?
So if you can select
have that
column, you
problem?
mean?
Or yeah, sorry, Colin.
Yeah, so if you can't do everything in the column,
No.
then yes, you don't have to do them. But if you
Okay.
can place it, you have to put it on there. You can't
Okay.
opt not to, because you'd just be a horrible person then, wouldn't you? You're effectively throwing the cat over the edge of the boat. And just
I'm
like,
intentionally
I
leaving
don't
this
want
cat
you.
there,
That one
so-
would be in my arm.
So are
Can't
these?
use this cat.
Are both these rare?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So either or of those on that one. There is a little mixture of them with those. So there's some which are all rare, some which are common and rare, and so on.
So we have like not a lot of turn. We have one turn.
One
left.
more turn after this, so 3 more cards.
How much do you get for getting the same color cat on its letter?
So you don't get points for that. You get
Oh.
the common treasure for that.
I haven't done that at all. I thought it was points.
Fill it in.
No, that's fine.
Fill it
You
in.
can add it in if you've done one. You can draw it onto now.
I've done 4.
Okay, you've done 4. So
Nice.
Oh, I get any of those?
yes.
Oh,
So-
okay. It wasn't one on the table. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
when I heard the common treasure and I wasn't sure where it gives you extra points, I think that was the piece I
Okay,
missed.
that's what you meant. Yeah,
Okay, so I can actually
that's
draw
fine.
4
You
of
can
these
draw the
on.
one now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that would be black.
Yes, and then just to put a C in them, just for reference, in case you need to know.
Thank you. They're rolling
I'm
everywhere.
so glad I asked that. Oh my god.
Okay, so I did
Um,
that one. I did that one. I did that one. Okay, great.
So we are coming up to that last round. That's where the stress really starts to apply.
I think we go for the shirt thing and just kind of. No.
I love sure things this time of year,
Yeah.
Nelson. Sure things are sensational, buddy. That makes no sense. Why did I do this? All right. Really banking on
It's -5 for unfinished.
a
shirt.
miracle.
Yeah.
Bummer. That sucks.
Well, I mean, you've managed to fill quite a few. Somebody over here might not have filled quite as many rooms.
I love cats.
A few people, I should say.
I'm ready. I'm just
I'm
feeling.
gonna
I'm
bank
just
on-
kind of making
colouring
it
it,
easier
yeah.
to notice.
bank on a purple here. I think that's what.
Oh shoot!
I played with someone once, and they basically like drew really beautiful cats each time.
Oh
and I
my
was just like,
gosh.
stop showing off.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even have time to do that. Let alone be able to do that. So I assume you're done.
Yeah, I
everyone
am
as
done.
well. And you're done as well.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Not feeling good about this.
But that's the thing. It's one of the beauties of the game is that you just don't know, like, because everyone's is just so
Mhm.
different, you know. And like, over here we've got a whole bunch of lessons. Over here we've got one huge family. It's like you just don't know
Oh,
until you
nice.
start
I have a
playing
lot of
more
little
and more.
families.
So.
Nice.
Right, I will start packing. You're,
I'm also
you're
gonna get
finished.
negative
I am.
25 points. So
For what?
Room.
yeah, because of the rooms.
I did fill like I think I have 2 rooms filled. Probably will end up with 3 or 4.
I have.
So there's 7 rooms in total, and then every room you haven't filled. So it starts at minus 35, and then works its way up from there.
So I worked my way to 40 points. Now I'm gonna be plus 5.
That's kind of what patchwork is, except for you start at negative 113. Is
Mhm.
that what it is?
So 7 points
Six
if every
for
cat on your boat is part of a family.
Oh,
8
close to
points
that.
if you've got exactly 4 purple and 4 red. So obviously in the last round, it's less likely you're going to be able to achieve these, but you can always luck out slightly.
I have 4 purple, but I have 5 red.
And then we have some treasures and
good.
some cats.
Fill in the little.
So this could be a perfect column for a lot of people. This is a good mixture of
Oh, wow.
treasures and any kind of cat.
I'm in trouble.
So this is the last round.
This is interesting.
It's a bit where you realise all of those dreams are not going to come true.
I know.
A
And
little
you've
bit
got
of
to
trouble
desperately
here.
panic. Seems like a good move.
Big yes.
Fill that.
Yeah.
But we're
I
gonna.
don't even know if I can place anything.
All right.
I could probably place this guy. Oh, there's 2 more like that. Okay, fine. I'll
For
do
the
that.
sake of
But I don't think I can do it.
I was thinking it wouldn't be that hard to fill in the perimeter of my ship. That was hard.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Very
it is
difficult.
tricky. It's one of
I
my
can
favourite
do that.
lessons because it's one of those ones where you kind of feel like it should be easy.
Yeah, it's
And,
like, oh, I can crawl just around the outside.
and you can definitely do it, but if you do it, then everything else becomes really non-optimal and you
Yep.
start panicking a little bit halfway through. So,
It's like, oh shoot. Yeah, that's why it's worth points to do.
how are you getting on?
Bad. Bad. Very bad. Very bad. Can't do that one.
I always find it fascinating to see what people do in their last little turns of desperation.
Besides weep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're looking over there. So you've chosen to leave this one behind,
I
right?
can't fit him yet.
It's a shame. It's a shame. I like purple. cats
Technically
as well.
inside my arms, but because I'm
Okay.
cuddling it, it's just not worth it.
That's why it's this shape, right?
Yeah.
It wraps around
Yeah,
your neck.
yeah, it's
so,
just not
okay.
worth any points because the points are in my heart.
It's, okay. We'll tell that to the evil warlord when he turns up.
Take me instead.
You push the boat out into the ocean and hope the cats know how to sail it.
Yeah. Nuka, you're in charge.
How rare is it to get number 9?
Number 9, 7 points if every cat on your boat is part of family. It's not that rare,
I'm
but it
almost
just
there.
depends on the strategy you kind of go down. Like it's
Okay.
one where, like, if it comes up in the last round, it's going to be pretty hard to do it. But if you get it in the first like 2 or 3, then it can be very easy to do. So one of the things with this is because, like, as you get through the game, like lesson cards are some of them are going to become easier, and some of them are going to become harder. And sometimes you can get ones that help. Sometimes the ones that are going to be useless, and that's why having your specials at the end can be helpful. Because it can stop you having to select them.
15 points if you have fewer than 3. I thought it was 3 or fewer. No! Bummer.
That's not great when you've got 3 of them.
Nope. That's horrible.
That's
It's really, really bad.
wrong.
Oops.
I could have sworn I drew more rare treasures. No, I just have one.
So are you done as well?
I am done.
Cool. And
So
you're all done.
We
So
total.
we've just got one more person finishing up.
And it's 6 rooms, right?
Mollusk
7 rooms.
7.
Yes.
There's a
So the
tiny
big
one at
grey
the
one is a
front.
room as
Oh,
well.
Oh, the big gray ones are cool.
So we good to start totaling points.
So
Oh, I
there's
didn't
one
realize
here.
that's
Yes.
a little room. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good. Great. Awesome.
Okay, so
Lovely.
if you want to start doing scores, so you're going to get points for blue families, so 3 or more blues, and then greens, oranges, purples, and reds. And if you go through all of those, in the right-hand side, you'll see how many points for each of them. 3 being 8 points, 4 being 11, 5 being 15, and then an extra 5 points per cat from then on.
How did you scale the system for scoring for this?
A lot of testing and a lot of balancing, and just making sure that like it's not always just optimal just to take more cats and
Yeah.
add them to a family, because the idea isn't just to have 20 of the same kind of cat, because that becomes complete luck at that point if you get them. So having enough value to them to encourage you to get more, but equally not making that too overpowering.
So technically, if I'm totaling this right,
Yep.
when I have the rat lesson, I should do like the 2 in like the lessons and then
Exactly.
still subtract 1 for rats,
Exactly.
just so that it's notated correctly.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay.
2 points per visible rat.
Mhm.
So is that because you said it was going to be 1 point per rat?
Yeah,
or-
so you still lose a point for each
Okay.
visible rat. So here you'll still do minus
Oh, minus
however
one.
many
I see what
rats,
you're
but here
saying.
you would do 2 per.
I'm so mad about that treasure. No.
And then obviously you can add it up and write your score in the top right hand corner.
Alright.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It said 40 to 50
Yeah.
so for the first game. So
Yeah, I feel.
And rooms are
-5 for each one.
and everything that is a different color is a room.
Yeah, so every square is part of a room. So this is one room which you have filled.
Okay.
And
I don't
then
think
everything
I
else.
filled
So I don't think you filled the others. So it's going to be
So
-30,
-30.
unfortunately. That's okay. Most people got -20, 25, so it's about standard for the first time you play.
I got 23.
38.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
I think so.
mean, I can double check it if you
Yeah.
want.
No.
No.
15,
47.
8, 16.
And that can be very common in that first game, because one of the things with this is one of the like design goals for this was to make it different to other polyomino games.
50 points,
A lot-
baby!
Nice.
Boom!
Huh?
Nice.
And most people, when they
Very
play
nice.
the first
Stupid
time, they
treasure.
kind of use what they're used to doing, and you just end up kind of doing a little bit whatever. And you use maybe all your specials in the first like 3 rounds.
I'm not
so,
going to say it wasn't a magic trick to end on 23,
Yeah.
releasing on 323.
That's awesome. This was great. This was
Yeah.
this was so
Yeah.
fun.
So what do we have in the end? We've got 38,
38.
47, 50,
50.
and then 23 over there.
Excellent.
My money was on you to win, so there
I
you go.
know.
Shows what I know.
I filled my board pretty well, but I
Yeah.
didn't connect enough of them at least.
Oh, this is extra points too, right? The R?
No, they're not. They give you the treasures when you cover them.
Oh, I did not get that then. Awesome.
That's
yeah,
what I
so
was
you
thinking
could have-
either.
Like-
You
Could've
might have
done
got a little bit
something else,
extra on
yeah.
there as well,
Okay.
but you know, you still won,
Mhm.
so you still got there.
Yeah.
Nice.
This
So
was
it
awesome.
Seems like the big families pay off.
They do.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things when the first time you play, it can be a great first strategy because it's easy
Yeah.
points, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whilst the lessons can be that little bit more tricky because
Mhm.
you don't quite know how everything else is going to add up. But as I say, I mean, it's very possible to get 130, 140 points in the game. And obviously with that, like getting 40, 50 points from families is only a third
Yeah.
of the amount of points that
Yeah.
you're going to need. So
Very cool.
Yeah, this was great. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
I'm
this.
really glad.
I enjoyed it.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah, it's
teaching
my
us.
pleasure.
To review, this is at retail the 23rd of March. Also, get on and wish Professor Meg a happy birthday on that day. So the best place to find you if people want to keep up to date
Yes.
on what you're doing, is it Instagram? Or are you more
Yes, so on
Twitter, or-
Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, it's
Okay.
all City of Games HQ.
Okay.
Or if you go to my website, thecityofkings.com,
Okay.
then you can find it. Or if you search for the Isle of Cats, you'll probably find me because
All right.
that comes up quite highly. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right.
We super appreciate it. We had a
Yeah,
lot of
it's my
fun.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for
guys.
your
Thank you.
It's been
This
really
is
good
great.
fun.
This is great.
All right, and we're gonna sign off. See you all. Thank you so much for tuning in if you did, and this has been a late one.
Yeah.
Let's all go to bed.
Especially on the eastern side
Yeah.
of the United
It's
States.
Sun rising outside the window.
It's late.
Good night.
Peace.
Bye.